I never thought my life would change because of a single glance. But it did. The first time I saw her, something inside me shifted forever. She walked past me, unaware of the storm she had awakened in my chest. Her smile was soft, almost careless, yet it held the power to stop time. In that moment, I knew I was no longer the same man. From that day, my mornings were not mine anymore. Every sunrise reminded me of her. Every passing breeze carried her name. She became the center of my thoughts, the echo of my silence, the heartbeat within my chest. I tried to tell myself it was just admiration, just a fleeting feeling. But I knew the truth. It was love, pure, undeniable, and overwhelming. The first words she ever spoke to me are carved into my memory. You always look lost in thought. What are you thinking about? Me, if I told you, you'd laugh. She's smiling. Try me. Me, I was thinking. How one smile can light up an entire day. She laughed softly, a sound more beautiful than any melody I had ever known. That laugh became my addiction. Day by day, we grew closer. We shared stories, secrets, and little pieces of our hearts. She told me about her dreams traveling to faraway places, living in houses by the sea, surrounded by beauty and luxury. I told her about Mina, simple life, quiet and peaceful, built on love and togetherness. Don't you ever want more? A bigger house, a brighter life. Me, I only want you. If I have you, even the smallest home will feel like a palace. She shook her head with a smile, as if amused by my simplicity. But I didn't mind. I believed love was enough. I believed we were enough. I started building my world around her. Every moment I could spare, I gave to her. Every dream I held, I placed in her hands. She became the reason for my sleepless nights, and the hope behind my every prayer. One evening, as we sat together under a fading sunset, I gathered the courage to speak from my heart. Me, promise me something. What? Me? Promise me that no matter where life takes us, you'll stay. Even if the world changes, even if everything else falls apart, just stay. She was quiet for a moment. Then she smiled, leaning closer. I'll stay. Those words were enough to make me believe in forever. I went to bed that night with her promise wrapped around my soul. I didn't know then how fragile promises could be. I didn't know that love, no matter how deep, is sometimes not enough. But for that moment, I was happy. For that moment, she was mine. Each day with her felt like a gift I didn't deserve, but was too selfish to let go of. I began to notice the little things about her, the way she tucked her hair behind her ear when she was nervous, the way she bit her lip when she was deep in thought, the way her eyes lit up when she spoke about her dreams. I memorized these details like they were verses of a sacred prayer. I held on to them, fearing that one day they might fade. We spent hours together, losing ourselves in conversations that had no end. Sometimes we'd sit in silence, yet even in silence, it felt like we were speaking. Her presence filled every empty space in me. Why do you always look at me like that? Me? Like what? Like I'm the only person in the world. Me, because to me, you are. Her cheeks turned pink, and she looked away, but I caught the smile she tried to hide. That smile became my strength. I remember one rainy afternoon. We sat together, watching the raindrops race each other down the window. She rested her head on my shoulder, and for the first time, I felt truly complete. She whispering, "Do you think this will last forever?" Me, "It has to, because without you, I don't exist." She didn't answer, but the silence between us was soft, not heavy. At least, that's what I told myself. I dreamed of a life where every day would feel like that moment. A small house with warm light, mornings with her laughter, nights filled with her voice telling me everything would be okay. I didn't have much to offer. I wasn't rich, I wasn't powerful, but I had love, and in my heart, I believed love was enough. She often spoke of wanting more traveling, exploring, living in ways bigger than I could imagine. I would listen quietly, nodding, even when I felt a sting inside me. Sometimes I feel like the world is too small, like I'm meant for something more, something greater. Me, you are greater. You are more. Don't you see? The world could fall apart, and you'd still be the brightest thing in it. She smiled, but her eyes told a different story. They carried a restlessness I didn't understand. Still, I convinced myself it was nothing. I told myself her dreams didn't mean she would leave. I told myself that love would be enough to hold her here, with me. Every night, I prayed for that. Every night, I prayed she would never see me as less than what she deserved. But deep down, a quiet fear began to whisper, a fear that love might not be enough. The days we spent together became the rhythm of my life. I measured time not by hours or minutes, but by moments with her. Every laugh, every touch, every glance was etched deep into my memory. Like treasures I never wanted to lose. There was a small cafe near the old street where we often met. It wasn't fancy, just wooden chairs, chipped tables, and the comforting smell of coffee that lingered in the air. But to me, it was sacred, because wherever she was, that place became home. One evening, as we sat there with cups of steaming coffee between us, she leaned forward and asked me something that caught me off guard. If you could build your perfect future, what would it look like? I smiled, because I had imagined it countless times. It would be simple. A small house, white walls, maybe a little garden. I'd wake up every morning with you by my side. We wouldn't need much, just love. That would be enough. She tilted her head, listening, but I noticed the flicker in her eyes, the same flicker I had seen before. That sounds sweet, but don't you ever want more? Don't you dream of something bigger? You are my more. You're my dream. What could be bigger than that? She laughed softly, stirring her coffee, and didn't answer right away. I told myself her silence meant agreement, but a small part of me feared otherwise. The truth was, I was blind in love. I believed my devotion would be enough to fill every empty space in her heart. I believed that if I held on tightly enough, she would never let go. There were moments, though, when I caught her looking AWOT, people who lived lives brighter, louder, richer than ours. I would see her eyes follow them, and my chest would tighten, but I never confronted her. I never asked what she truly wanted. I was too afraid of the answer. Instead, I drowned her in love. I brought her little gifts, not expensive ones, just tokens of affection. A book I thought she'd like, a flower I picked on my way to see her. Handwritten notes with words my heart couldn't keep inside. She smiled at these things. Sometimes she even hugged me tightly, whispering, "You're too much." But sometimes I saw the emptiness in her smile, the absence of excitement in her eyes. Still, I convinced myself she was happy. Still, I told myself I was enough. One night, as we walked under the stars, I reached for her hand and held it tightly. Me, do you ever think about forever? Forever is a long time. Not long enough for me to love you. She looked at me, her eyes soft, her lips curved in a smile, and in that moment, I believed her heart belonged to me as completely as mine belonged to her. I didn't know how fragile love could be. I didn't know that, even as I held her hand, she was already slipping away. The closer I drew to her, the more I began to notice the cracks in our perfect picture. They were small, almost invisible, but they were there, hidden behind her laughter, buried in her silences. Sometimes, when I spoke about our future, she smiled politely, but her eyes seemed far away, as though she was imagining a world I couldn't see. What are you thinking? Nothing. Just wondering, about us. About life. Her voice was soft, but I could feel the distance in it. I tried to ignore it. I told myself it was nothing more than her dreams, speaking louder than her heart. She had always wanted more beauty, more brightness, more of everything. And me, I had only myself to give. Still, I believed that what I offered was enough. I remember one evening when she seemed unusually quiet. We were sitting together, the world around us fading into the background, when she finally looked at me with a question that pierced my chest. Do you really think love is enough? I froze. My heart stumbled. For me, the answer was obvious. Of course it is. Love is everything. If we have that, we don't need anything else. She looked away, her fingers tracing invisible patterns on the table. Sometimes, I'm not so sure. The words cut through me, sharp and cold, but I forced a smile, desperate to keep the moment from slipping into darkness. You don't have to be sure. I'll be sure for both of us. She didn't respond, and in that silence, I felt the weight of her doubts pressing against my chest. I went home that night carrying her uncertainty like a shadow. Still, I told myself I could love her enough for the both of us. That my devotion could silence her doubts, erase her fears, and fill every empty corner of her heart. But love, I would later learn, cannot fill the spaces carved out by longing for something else. Yet in those days, I remained blind. I poured every ounce of myself into her. Every thought, every plan, every heartbeat, I gave it all. Because she was my forever, and I couldn't imagine a life without her. I wanted to show her that even the smallest gestures could hold the deepest love. I didn't have riches to offer, but I had thought, effort, and sincerity. Every morning, I thought about her before I thought about myself. I would stop on my way to see her, picking flowers from the side of the road because I knew they would make her smile. Sometimes, I'd write her little notes, just a few lines about how much she meant to me and slip them into her hand when no one was looking. Me handing her a note? Don't open it now. Read it when you're alone. Later. She would message me with nothing but a single word, crazy. But I knew she loved it, even if she didn't always say it. One evening, I surprised her with her favorite dessert. I had saved 4 days just to buy it. When I handed it to her, she looked at me, eyes wide with surprise. You didn't have to. I wanted to. Seeing you happy is enough for me. She smiled, but again, there was something behind her ease, quiet distance I couldn't erase. I ignored it, choosing instead to focus on the moments where she laughed freely, where she leaned against me as though I was her safe place. Those moments were my fuel, the reason I kept believing in us. I remember once, when she had a bad day, I held her hand and whispered, I know I can't fix everything, but I promise you'll never face anything alone, not as long as I'm here. She rested her head against my chest, and for a fleeting moment, I thought I was enough. But late at night, when I was alone, doubts gnawed at me. Was I truly giving her the life she wanted? Could my love outweigh her dreams of something bigger, brighter, more glamorous? Still, I silenced those fears. I told myself love was stronger than doubt, and I loved her more than words could ever hold. To me, she was not just my partner, she was my purpose, my reason, my forever, and I couldn't imagine she would ever see it differently. One night stays carved into my memory more deeply than the rest. We had spent the whole day together, wandering through streets that seemed ordinary to everyone else, but magical to me, simply because she was beside me. When evening came, we found ourselves sitting quietly, the world dim around us, stars just beginning to pierce the sky. For a long time, neither of us spoke. It was one of those silences that felt comfortable, almost sacred, but then she broke it. Do you ever wonder what the future will really look like? All the time. And every time I do, you're there. No, do you ever worry? About money, about stability, about the kind of life we'll actually have. Her voice trembled slightly, though she tried to keep it steady. I looked at her, my heart tightening, and I answered without hesitation. I don't worry, because I know, as long as you're with me, I can handle anything. I'll work, I'll fight, I'll do whatever it takes. You'll never have to feel like you're missing anything." She looked away, staring at the horizon. Sometimes I feel like just love might not be enough." Her words hit me like cold rain, but I held her hand tighter, refusing to let fear creep in. Then let me love you more. Let me make it enough." She didn't answer. Instead, she leaned her head against my shoulder. I closed my eyes, pretending her silence meant agreement, pretending her doubts were nothing but passing shadows. Inside, I promised myself I would prove her wrong. I would show her that love was stronger than any worry, stronger than any obstacle. I worked harder than ever after that. Every little thing I did with her in mind. Every plan I made for her. Every dream I carried was one I wanted to share with her. Still, sometimes, when I caught her staring off into the distance, I wondered what she saw. Was she picturing the simple home I dreamed of? Or was she imagining something bigger, grander, something I could never give her? I never asked. I didn't want the answer, because to me, she was already my forever. And I believed I needed to believe that she felt the same. The more time I spent with her, the more certain I became that she was my destiny. Every moment we shared felt like a thread weaving us closer together, binding our lives into something unbreakable. One evening, as we walked down a quiet street, I stopped and held her hand firmly. My voice trembled with emotion I could no longer keep inside. I want you to know something. I will never leave you. No matter what happens, no matter how hard life gets, I'll be here. I'll fight for us, always." She looked at me, her eyes glistening under the dim streetlight. For a second, I thought I saw tears forming, but then she blinked them away and smiled. "You're too sure about everything, because when it comes to you, there's no room for doubt." Her smile lingered, but there was something behind it, a softness that felt like hesitation. I brushed it aside, choosing instead to believe she felt the same certainty I did. The days that followed were filled with warmth. We shared laughter over silly things, long walks where we lost track of time, and whispered promises spoken in the quiet of the night. Every word she gave me, I held like a sacred vow, but there were moments, brief, fleeting moments where I caught her staring at me with an unreadable expression. It wasn't anger. It wasn't sadness. It was something else. A quiet storm I couldn't understand. Whenever I asked, she would shake her head. "It's nothing. You worry too much." And I would smile, pretending to believe her, because the truth was, I didn't want to face the possibility that her silence meant something more. I drowned those fears with devotion. I gave her every part of myself, holding nothing back. My love was relentless, desperate, consuming. Sometimes she would laugh and say, "You're too much. No one could love like this." And I would reply, "Then let me be the only one who does." In my heart, I thought I was building something eternal. I thought my love was strong enough to carry us both, no matter what doubts or fears she held inside. I didn't realize how fragile forever could be, but in those days, I believed in it with everything I had. There was a night when everything felt almost perfect, as if the universe itself wanted to remind me why I believed in us so deeply. We had gone out for a walk, the air cool, the stars scattered like diamonds above. She slipped her hand into mine, and for a moment, the world felt right. "You always hold my hand so tightly." "Because I'm afraid if I don't, you might slip away." She laughed softly, shaking her head. "You talk as if I'm going somewhere." "You're my whole world. If I lost you, I'd lose myself." For a moment, her eyes softened, and she looked at me with something that almost resembled the certainty I carried in my heart. "Do you really love me that much?" "More than anything, more than my own life." Silence followed, but it wasn't uncomfortable. It was heavy, meaningful. like she was holding back words she wasn't ready to say. I leaned closer, whispering into the night. Me, one day, you'll see. I'll make you so happy you'll never doubt us again. She smiled, but it was faint, almost fragile. I hope you're right. Those words stayed with me, echoing long after the night was over. The next day I doubled my efforts. I wanted to give her everything she dreamed of. I pushed myself harder, saved more, planned further ahead. Every sacrifice I made for her. Every dream I postponed for us. But still, there were moments when her silence grew louder than her words. Times when she looked at me as though she was searching for something she couldn't find. I held her tighter then, as if my love alone could silence the storm I felt building in her heart. Me, don't ever doubt me. Don't ever doubt us. I'll give you the world, even if I have to build it with my bare hands. She nodded, smiling faintly, but I could feel it, the distance between us, invisible yet undeniable, growing slowly day by day. And though I refused to admit it then, deep down, I knew love alone might not be enough to hold her. But still, I loved her with everything I had, and I wasn't ready to let go. There were nights when I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every word she had spoken. Her laughter, her sighs, her silences, they all echoed inside me, and I tried to convince myself they meant nothing. But the truth is, silence can be louder than words. Sometimes she would sit beside me, lost in thought, her eyes wandering somewhere I couldn't follow. Me. Where are you right now? I'm here. With you. Me. No, I mean really. Your mind. It's far away. She forced a smile, leaning her head on my shoulder. You worry too much. Just love me the way you do. That's enough. And so, I believed her. Or maybe I wanted to believe her. I tried to drown her distance with devotion. I sent her long messages at night, pouring out my heart, reminding her of all the reasons I loved her. Sometimes she replied with warmth, other times, only with a short good night. Still, I clung to every response as if it were proof she was mine. There was one evening I'll never forget. We were sitting in the park, the world around us fading, when I asked her something I had always kept in my heart. Do you see a forever with me? She looked at me quietly, and for a moment, I thought she would finally say the words I longed to hear. But instead, she whispered, I don't know what forever looks like. Her answer shattered something inside me, though I smiled to hide the ache. Then let me be the one to show you. She didn't reply. She just leaned closer, and I held her, as if holding her could erase her doubts. That night, I realized something. I was carrying both our hearts. I was loving for the both of us. I was building a forever she wasn't sure she even wanted. But still, I couldn't stop, because she was everything to me. I told myself that one day she would understand. One day she would see that no luxury, no dream, no vision of a brighter life could ever replace the kind of love I was giving her. I told myself that if I loved her hard enough, it would be enough. I didn't know then how wrong I was. The last days of our beginning still linger in my memory, like the fading notes of a song, sweet, haunting, impossible to forget. I remember one quiet afternoon when she sat across from me, sunlight spilling across her face. She was beautiful, so beautiful it hurt to look at her. I wanted to freeze that moment, to hold it forever. You know I don't need anything else in this world. Just you. That's all. She looked at me with a softness I couldn't quite read. What if love changes? Her words shook me. I leaned forward, desperate to erase her doubt. Love doesn't change. Not mine. Not for you. She didn't argue, but she didn't agree either. She just smiled faintly, as if she knew something I didn't. That night, as I walked her home, I held her hand tighter than ever before. Promise me something. That no matter what happens, no matter where life takes us, You'll never forget what we have right now. She hesitated, then whispered, I promise. I clung to that promise like it was a lifeline. To me, it was proof that she was mine, that our love was strong enough to survive anything. But in the silence of my own heart, I felt the cracks growing. I felt her drifting, even as I pulled her closer. I told myself it was fear. I told myself she would see in time, because to me, love was not just a feeling, it was forever. It was sacrifice. It was the only truth I believed in. And as long as I had her, I thought I had everything. I didn't know then that love, no matter how pure, cannot hold someone who is already slipping away. But for now, in those early days, she was still mine, and I loved her as if nothing could ever take her from me. The days that followed should have been the happiest of my life, but instead, I began to notice small changes, subtle, almost invisible at first, yet undeniable when I looked closely. She wasn't as eager to answer my calls anymore. Sometimes my messages would sit unread for hours, even though I knew she was online. One evening, I finally asked her, is everything okay? You seem distant lately. She smiled, brushing my concern aside. You worry too much. I'm just tired, that's all. But I could feel it, something was slipping between us. Like sand through my fingers. I tried to fight it with love. I showed up with little gifts, wrote her long notes, reminded her of the promises we had made. I just want you to know, no matter what, I'm here. Nothing can change that. She nodded, offering me a smile, but her eyes told a different story. Sometimes, when I spoke of our future, she grew quiet. One day, I'll build us a home. Simple, maybe, but filled with love. Don't you want that too? I don't know. Her words pierced deeper than any blade. That night, I lay awake, staring into the dark. For the first time, a thought I had always pushed away returned with force. What if my love wasn't enough? But the next morning, I buried the fear and replaced it with determination. I'll prove it to you. I'll show you love is stronger than doubt, stronger than anything. Even if her heart wavered, mine would not. Even if she questioned us, I never would. Because to me, she wasn't just a chapter in my life, she was the whole story, and I refused to believe that story could end. The changes grew harder to ignore. She used to tell me everything, little stories about her day, things that made her laugh, even the smallest details she thought I'd enjoy. But lately, her words had become shorter, clipped, almost as if she was conserving them. You're quiet again. Did something happen? No. Just thinking. About what? About life. About what I want. Her answer cut into me. I thought we wanted the same thing. She sighed, her eyes distant. Maybe. But sometimes I wonder if wanting isn't the same as having. Her words left me silent. I didn't know how to respond, so I did the only thing I could. Doubled down on love. I surprised her with her favorite meal. I stayed up late, writing her long messages about my dreams for us. I reminded her of the promises we had made beneath the stars. We said forever. Do you remember? Yes. Then hold on to that, even if things feel uncertain. Hold on to me. She gave me a small smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. Nights became heavier. She replied less. Sometimes, she didn't reply at all. I would stare at my phone, waiting for the screen to light up, praying her name would appear. Hours passed, then days, and when her reply finally came, it was simple, almost careless. Sorry, I was busy. Busy. I read that word over and over, my chest tightening. Busy with what? Busy with who? But I didn't ask. I didn't want to seem controlling. I didn't want to push her further away. Instead, I whispered to myself, she loves me. She just doesn't know how to show it right now. I told myself love was enough, that it had to be because the alternative that she was slipping away was too painful to face, and so I held tighter. Even as she pulled further, days turned into weeks, and the distance between us kept growing. I noticed how her laughter had changed, used to be full, effortless, like music. Now, it felt restrained, almost forced. One evening, I finally confronted her. "Me, do you still feel the same about us?" She looked at me for a long moment before answering. "Why do you always ask me that?" "Me, because I feel you drifting away, and it scares me." Her eyes softened, but her words carried weight. "Maybe. I just need space. Maybe I need time to think." The word space felt like a knife twisting inside me. Me, time to think about what? About us. About whether you love me. She didn't respond. Instead, she lowered her gaze. "Me? I've given you everything. My time, my heart, my future. What else is left for me to give?" "I know. And that's what makes this harder." Her tone shattered me. It was as though my love, instead of holding her closer, was pushing her away. I reached for her hand, desperate. "Me, don't do this. Don't let go of us. I can fix it. Whatever it is, I can fix it." She pulled her hand back gently. "Not everything can be fixed with love." Her words echoed in my mind long after she left that night. I sat alone, replaying every moment, every smile, every promise. How had we gone from forever to space? From whispered vows to silence? But no matter how much it hurt, I refused to give up. Me to myself. She's scared. That's all. She doesn't know what she wants. I'll wait. I'll fight. I'll prove to her that love is enough. And so I clung to that belief. Even as the cracks grew wider, even as her silence deepened. Because to me, letting go wasn't an option. She was my everything, and I wasn't ready to lose her. Her absence began to weigh on me more than her presence ever had. There were days when she didn't come to see me at all, days when her voice was just a memory in my head instead of a comfort in my ears. I told myself not to panic, not to demand, not to push. But inside, I was breaking. One evening, I finally called her. "Me, why haven't you answered me? I've been waiting all day." Her voice was calm, too calm. "I was busy. I needed time to myself." "Me, time to yourself. Or time away from me." Silence stopped me. "Do you even miss me anymore?" Sometimes. That word cut deeper than any blade. Me, sometimes. I think about you every second. Every moment without you feels empty. How can it be only sometimes for you?" Because I don't want to lie to you. I care, but I don't feel what you feel. At least, not anymore. My heart collapsed in my chest. "Me, not anymore." "What changed?" "Tell me what I did wrong. I can fix it. I swear I can fix it." It's not about you doing something wrong. It's about me realizing, maybe I want more than just love. Her words echoed in my ears, heavy, final. Me, but love is everything, don't you see? Love is enough to survive anything. Not for me. Not right now. I couldn't breathe. The ground beneath me felt unsteady. Me. So what are you saying? That all our promises meant nothing? That forever was just a lie? Her voice softened, but it didn't waver. She forever felt real in the moment. But feelings change. Tears burned my eyes, though I refused to let them fall me. Mine didn't change. Mine never will. There was silence between us. A silence so heavy it felt like goodbye, but I couldn't let it end there. Me, I'm not giving up. I don't care if you doubt. I don't care if you need space. I'll wait. I'll prove to you that love is stronger than this. She sighed, as if my determination only made things harder. You shouldn't have to fight this hard to keep me, but I will, because losing you isn't an option. And with that, the call ended. I sat in the silence, clutching my phone, clinging to the hope that she would come back. Because despite her words, despite the cracks, despite the pain, to me, she was still my forever. And I wasn't ready to let go. Days turned into a blur of waiting for her replies, waiting for her visits, waiting for the warmth that once flowed so easily between us but now felt like a rare gift. One night, unable to hold it in any longer, I confronted her again. Tell me honestly, do you even want to be here with me anymore? She looked at me quietly before answering. I don't know what I want. How can you not know? I know. I've always known. I want you. I want us. Why is it so hard for you to say the same? Because what if I say it, and then realize later it isn't true? I don't want to make promises I can't keep. Her words stung like betrayal. But you already did. You promised me forever. I meant it then. And now. She hesitated, her silence louder than any answer. Say it please. Just tell me you still love me. She whispered so softly, I almost didn't hear. I care about you. I pulled back, staring at her, as if the ground had disappeared beneath my feet. Care. That's all. After everything we've shared, after everything I've given, all you have left is care. I don't want to hurt you, but I can't lie to you either. I shook my head, my voice breaking. You don't understand. You are my life, my everything. Without you, I'm nothing. How can you be so calm while I'm falling apart? Her eyes softened, but her words remained steady. Because I don't feel the same weight anymore. And that's the truth. The silence after her words was unbearable. I wanted to scream, to beg, to shake her, until she remembered the love we once had. But instead, I whispered, then I'll carry it for both of us. I'll love enough for the both of us. I won't let us end like this. She sighed, her expression unreadable. You can't carry someone who doesn't want to be carried. Those words pierced deeper than anything else she had ever said. But still, I refused to let go. You'll see. One day, you'll see that no one will ever love you the way I do. And when that day comes, you'll realize walking away was the biggest mistake of your life. She didn't argue. She didn't promise. She just looked away. And in that moment, I felt both the deepest love and the deepest despair I had ever known. The nights grew longer, heavier, lonelier. I tried to hold on to the pieces of us, but every day, more of them slipped through my hands. There were times when I called her, and she didn't answer. Times when I wrote long messages, pouring my soul into every word, only to receive a single reply hours later. I'm tired, busy, we'll talk later. Later never came. One evening, I finally asked a question that had been tearing me apart. Do you even want me in your life anymore? She was silent for a long time before whispering, I don't know. Her answer shattered me. You don't know. How can you not know? After everything we've shared, after all the promises, how can you not know? Her eyes glistened, but she didn't break. Because I feel different now. Things have changed inside me. I don't see our future the same way you do. I grabbed her hand desperately. Then let me change it back. Let me prove to you that love is enough. She shook her head slowly. It's not about proving. It's about feeling. And my feelings aren't the same anymore. Her words left me hollow. Mine are. Mine haven't changed. Mine never will. Doesn't that mean anything to you? She looked at me sadly. It means everything, but it isn't enough. For the first time, I felt my world collapsing. So what do you want me to do? Just let you go? Pretend none of this ever mattered? I want you to live your life, even if I'm not in it. The thought of life without her was unbearable. No, I can't. I won't. You are my life. You can't just ask me to let that go. Her voice was steady. but her eyes were wet with tears. Sometimes love means letting go. I shook my head violently. Me, not my love. My love means holding on, no matter how hard it gets. But in my heart, I felt the truth creeping in. She was slipping away, and no matter how tightly I held, no matter how deeply I loved, she was no longer mine the way she once was. Still, I refused to surrender. Me to myself. She realized it one day. She'll remember the promises, the laughter, the nights we dreamed of forever. And when she does, she'll come back. I told myself this over and over, as if repeating it could make it real. Because the alternative, the thought of a future without her, was something I couldn't bear to face. I began to live in a cycle of hope and despair. Every message from her gave me life. Every silence from her killed me a little more. Some nights I stayed awake, staring at my phone, waiting for her name to appear. When it finally did, even a single word was enough to keep me breathing. But deep down, I knew something was breaking. One night, I asked the question that haunted me the most. Me, do you still love me? She didn't answer right away. She looked down, her silence heavier than any words. Me, please, don't stay quiet. Just tell me. Finally, she whispered. I don't feel the same anymore. The world froze. My chest tightened as if someone had stolen the air from my lungs to me. You don't love me. Not the way I used to. I stumbled back, shaking my head in disbelief. Me, no, that's not possible. You can't just stop loving me. Love doesn't vanish like that. It doesn't disappear overnight. It didn't happen overnight. It happened slowly, and I didn't know how to tell you. Tears burned my eyes, but I held them back. Me. So all this time, while I was fighting for us, you were already gone. She closed her eyes. I'm sorry. Those words broke me more than anger ever could. Me. Sorry. That's all. After everything. After all our promises, our dreams, our forever you're just sorry. What else can I say? I felt my knees weaken. Me. Say you'll try again. Say we can fix this. Say love is still worth fighting for. She looked at me with sadness that felt like goodbye. I can't promise you something my heart doesn't feel. Silence filled the room. My world was ending, and she spoke as if it was just another day. Me, then what am I supposed to do with all this love inside me? What am I supposed to do with forever, when you're not in it anymore? She wiped a tear from her cheek but said nothing. I realized then that love, no matter how pure, cannot hold someone who no longer wishes to stay. And yet, even as she slipped away, I whispered to myself, me too, myself. She'll come back. She has to. Because no one will ever love her the way I do. It was hope. It was denial. It was the only thing keeping me alive. The days after that conversation were the hardest of my life. I walked around carrying a body that looked alive, but inside, I was already dead. Every corner of my room whispered her name. Every memory replayed itself like a cruel reminder of what I was losing. Still, I didn't give up. ICOULDN. Single quotes to one afternoon, I called her again, my voice trembling. Me. Can we talk? Just one more time. Please. After a long pause, she agreed. When we met, I searched her eyes for the love I used to see, but all I found was distance. Me. Tell me. Is this really the end? She sighed softly, almost as if she had rehearsed this moment 1,000 times. It has to be. Me. Why? Why does it have to be? We were perfect once. We laughed. We dreamed. We held on to each other, as if nothing could break us. What changed? Her gaze lowered. I changed. My heart changed. Me. Then change it back. Please. I'll do anything. Just tell me what to do. You can't force love. You can't keep it alive by yourself. I felt tears finally escape, burning down my cheeks. Me. but I don't know how to stop. I don't know how to live without you. You'll learn. One day, you'll thank me for setting you free. Free. That word felt like a chain tightening around my throat. Free. You call this freedom. This is a prison without walls. A sentence I can't escape. She closed her eyes, whispering, I'm sorry. That word again. Sorry like a knife disguised as kindness. I wanted to scream, to beg, to collapse at her feet, but instead, I straightened my back and whispered, no matter what you say, I'll keep loving you. Even if you walk away, even if you never come back, my heart will wait for you until its last breath. She turned to leave, and with every step she took, I felt pieces of me breaking at the door. She paused for a moment, as if something inside her hesitated, but then she walked out, and just like that, the love I thought would last forever slipped through my fingers. That night, I sat alone, staring at the empty space where she used to be, me to myself. She sold my love for something else, something I'll never understand, and by the time she realizes what she lost, I'll be long gone. For the first time, the words didn't feel like a promise. They felt like destiny. The days after she left felt endless. My phone stayed silent, my heart stayed heavy, and my mind kept replaying her last words. I tried to convince myself she would return, but deep down, I knew. Still, I couldn't stop hoping. One night, I picked up my phone and whispered to myself, just one message. If she replies, maybe there's still a chance. I typed slowly, I miss you. Please, talk to me. Minutes passed, then hours. No reply. The silence was louder than any rejection. The next morning, I tried again, texting. Do you even think about me anymore? Still nothing. I clenched my fists, my voice breaking into the empty room. Why can't you just answer? Why can't you just tell me if I still matter? Later that night, she finally called. My heart raced as I answered. I knew you'd come back. I knew it. Her voice was calm, almost distant. I didn't come back. I just didn't want to ignore you forever. Her words struck me like thunder. Don't say that. Don't push me away. Please. Tell me you still feel something. I care about you. But caring isn't love. Not anymore. I couldn't breathe. Then why call me at all? Because I don't hate you. I just can't give you what you want. Tears blurred my vision, but I forced my voice to stay steady. What I want is simple. I want us. I want forever. Why is that so impossible for you now? Because forever doesn't feel the same anymore. The silence after her words felt like the sound of my heart breaking all over again. I'll keep waiting. I don't care how long it takes. I'll wait until you find your way back. She sighed softly. Don't. You'll only hurt yourself more. I don't care. Loving you, even in pain, is better than a life without you. She didn't reply, and before I could say more, the line went dead. I held the phone to my chest, whispering into the darkness, to myself, one day she'll understand. One day, she'll remember. And when she does, I'll still be here. The days blurred together. Her silence became a constant shadow in my life. Every morning I woke up hoping for a message. Every night I went to sleep, with disappointment heavy in my chest. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I called her again. She answered after a long pause. Why do you keep doing this? Why do you leave me hanging between hope and despair? Because I don't want to give you false promises. False. Everything we shared was that false too. No. It was real, but it's not real anymore. Her words were knives. You can't just erase love like that. You can't just decide it's gone. I didn't decide. It just faded. I clenched the phone tighter. my voice trembling. Me. Then tell me how to bring it back. Tell me how to make you feel what you once felt. You can't. That's the point. My chest felt like it was caving in me. Do you know what it feels like? To love someone so much that every breath depends on them, and to hear them say it means nothing now. She stayed quiet for a moment before whispering, I never asked you to love me that much. But I did. I still do, and I can't stop. Don't you understand? You are the reason I breathe. Her voice was soft, almost pitying. And that's exactly why I have to let you go. I shook my head violently, though she couldn't see me. No, I won't accept that. I can't. You'll have to. The call ended. I stared at the black screen of my phone, my reflection blurred by tears. Me to myself, no matter what she says, love like mine doesn't just disappear. One day, she'll see that. Nights turned heavier. Silence became my companion, and her absence became the loudest sound in my life. I tried distracting myself, reading, walking, even pretending to smile in front of others, but the moment I was alone, her voice echoed in my head. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I called her again. She answered, her tone flat. Me. Do you even realize what you're doing to me? I'm just living my life. Me. Living your life. What about the life we built together? What about the promises? What about us? That life doesn't feel like mine anymore. Her words knocked the breath out of me. Me? How can you say that? Every moment we shared, every memory we carved it together. How can you walk away as if it never mattered? It mattered then. It doesn't now. I froze, my hand trembling as I held the phone. Do you even hear yourself? You're destroying me. And you sound so calm, so cold. Because I made peace with it. You haven't. Me? Peace. You call this peace. You ripped my heart out, and you call it peace. Her sigh on the other end was heavy. I never wanted to hurt you, but dragging this on will only hurt you more. Me? No. The only thing that hurts is losing you. The only thing that kills me is the thought of you not being mine. Double quotes, silence. Me. Say something, please. Tell me I still matter, even if just a little. Finally, she whispered, you'll always matter, but not in the way you want. My heart broke again, in ways I didn't think possible. Me softly, then I'll keep waiting. I'll keep holding on, because I don't know how to stop loving you. She didn't answer. The call ended, and once again, I was left alone with my love, my pain, and the silence that swallowed me holds, turned into weeks. Her replies became fewer, shorter, colder. Still, I clung to every word she gave me, as if they were the last drops of water in a desert. One evening, I couldn't take it anymore. I called her again, my voice trembling with desperation. Me. Why are you doing this to me? Why keep me half alive, half dead? Just tell me the truth. Because the truth will only break you more. Me. No. The silence is what breaks me. Please, just say it. She paused before speaking, her voice heavy. I don't love you anymore. The words echoed in my ears like thunder. Me. No. You don't mean that. You can't. You promised me forever. Forever felt real then, but it doesn't feel real now. Me. So that's it. All the nights, all the dreams, all the love, you're throwing it away like it was nothing. It wasn't nothing, but it's over. Tears blurred my eyes. My voice broke. Me. Over? No, not for me. For me, it's still everything. For me, it always will be. That's your choice. But it's not mine anymore. I felt my body collapse into the chair, my heart pounding like it was shattering piece by piece. Me, do you even realize what you're asking me to do? To live without you. That's like asking me not to breathe. Her tone softened, but her words were sharp. and that's exactly why we can't be together. Love shouldn't feel like suffocation. Me, it's not suffocation, it's forever. And I'll never stop. There was silence. Then, finally, she whispered, then you'll spend forever waiting for something that won't come back. The line went dead, and I was left in the silence once again, a silence louder than screams, sharper than knives. Time moved on, even when I didn't want it to. I stopped counting the days since she left. At first it felt like betrayal. How could I live without marking the loss? But slowly, I realized it was survival. One morning, I looked in the mirror and didn't just see a broken man anymore. I saw someone who had endured, someone who still had a pulse, a voice, a chance. Later that evening, she called again. Her voice was softer this time, almost afraid. You sound different. Me, maybe I am. Pain changes people. Do you hate me for it? Me? No. Hating you would mean you still control me. I won't give you that power. She was quiet for a long time before asking. Are we really over? The question stung. Not because I didn't know the answer, but because I finally did. Me. Yes, at least the version of us that destroyed me, that's over. She inhaled sharply. But I still think about you. Me, and I still feel you in the cracks of my day. But thoughts aren't enough. They never were. Then what is enough? I closed my eyes. Let the truth fall heavy from my chest. Me. Consistency. Effort. Presence. Love isn't just words, it's the choice you make every single day, she whispered, almost broken. I couldn't make that choice before. Me. And maybe that's why we failed. Silence lingered between us again. But this time it wasn't suffocating. It was honest. For the first time, I didn't feel desperate to hold on. For the first time, I felt like I could let go and still breathe. The days felt lighter. Not because the pain was gone, but because I had stopped feeding it. I began to live with myself again. Still, there were nights when her voice returned to me, not in dreams, but in reality. She called, as if the silence between us kept pulling her back. Do you ever think of the way it used to be? Me, every day, but I don't stay there anymore. I miss how safe I felt with you. Me, and I miss how alive I felt with you. But missing isn't the same as living. Her voice trembled. I thought walking away would set me free. But it only caged me in regret. I let her words sink into me. Months ago, I would have begged her to come back, to rebuild. Now, I only spoke the truth. Me. Regret doesn't erase what happened. You chose to leave, and I chose to survive. But what if I want to choose differently now? I exhaled slowly, steadying my voice. Me. Then understand this: if you come back, it won't be to the same man. I'm not who I was when you left. She paused. Who are you now? Me. Someone who knows his worth. Someone who won't be broken just to keep someone else whole. There was silence, heavy but respectful. Then she whispered, maybe that's the man I should have loved all along. I closed my eyes. Me, maybe. But you'll have to prove it this time. Words aren't enough anymore. She didn't argue. She only said softly, then let me try. For the first time, her voice didn't carry power over me. For the first time, I held the choice in my hands. She began calling more often. At first I thought it was guilt. But the more we spoke, the more I realized it wasn't guilt. It was longing. One night, her voice broke through the quiet. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I'm searching for pieces of myself in you. I leaned into the silence before replying. Me, but when you left, you shattered me. How do I trust that you won't do it again? Her breath trembled through the line. Because I've seen what life is without you, and it feels like walking through a house with no door strapped. Endless, empty. I closed my eyes, my voice low. Me. You had me. You had all of me, and you chose to walk away. I was afraid of needing you too much. Me. And now. Now I'm afraid of never being needed by you again. Her honesty pierced me deeper than anger ever could. Me. Do you understand what it cost me to survive you? Nights of silence, days of emptiness, and still I stand. I know, and maybe that's why I admire you even more now. I almost laughed. Bitter and broken me. Admiration isn't love. But love brought me back here, didn't it? Her words lingered like smoke. For the first time, I didn't feel like the desperate one. I felt like the one with the choice. Me. If this is truly love, then prove it. Don't just come back with words, come back with actions, with consistency, with truth, she whispered, her voice raw. Then give me that chance. I let the silence stretch. Not because I didn't want her back, but because I finally knew I didn't need her to survive, and that changed everything. Days passed, and her voice kept returning to me, sometimes through calls, sometimes through messages. Each time, she sounded more fragile, more uncertain, as if she feared losing her last chance. One evening, she whispered softly, "Do you think we could ever start again?" I paused before answering. Me. Starting again doesn't mean erasing the past. It means carrying it, learning from it, and building differently. And are you willing to build with me? I let out a heavy breath. I'm willing to see if you mean it. But I won't be the man who begged, who broke, who gave everything while you walked away. That version of me is gone. Her voice trembled. Maybe that's the man I needed all along, the one who knows his worth. I closed my eyes, fighting the ache in my chest. Me. Then understand this. If you want to come back, it has to be forever. No half promises. No exits. I won't survive another leaving. Her words cracked like glass. Forever is what I'm ready for now. Silence stretched between us. Not sharp this time, but cautious. Me. Then prove it. Not today, not with words. Prove it with every day that follows. Prove it when it's hard, when it's inconvenient, when love feels more like work than magic, she whispered. I will. Just don't shut the door on me. For the first time, I didn't feel desperate to hold her, nor afraid to lose her. For the first time, I felt strong enough to decide, not out of weakness, but out of truth. Me. The door isn't shut, but it won't stay open forever. And in that moment, I realized something powerful. I didn't just love her anymore. I loved myself enough to choose wisely.